I'm Joe and welcome to the channel. Thank you for taking the time to watch these videos. I really do appreciate it. In this series of videos, we're looking at chord progressions, and I'm showing you some guitar parts to get you started thinking about your own ideas when you're crafting and writing your own parts for your songs. What is a chord progression? A chord progression is a series or a pattern of chords that are played over and over again repeatedly in a song. Sometimes this will happen throughout the entire song, or sometimes it's just a pattern that happens in the verse and there's a different pattern that happens in the chorus. In this video, we're looking at the 1-6-4-5 chord progression in the key of G. So what does that mean? Well, the first chord we're going to have is G, which will be the root. That's our 1 chord. Going to our 6th chord, which would be E minor. Going to our 4 chord, which is C. And then going to our 5 chord, which is D. And that's the whole chord progression throughout the whole entire song. This song has 4 guitar tracks, and in a couple of them there's a couple of different parts depending on what section of the song we're on. Let's look at the first part. The first part is basically just doing your G, your E minor, your C, and your D chord. And we're doing a little bit of a palm mute, which means we're taking the fleshy part of our hand and we're putting it near the bridge here and we're dampening the strings. And we're going to start out with the G. To the E minor. C. D. And you can see I'm building up intensity as I go through those chords. I start off quiet. Get a little louder. You want to add dynamics to your playing. It really helps add excitement to your song. Now that's the first part of the first guitar part. The second part of the first track basically is our open chords. So we're just going to do G. I'm going to lift up my 3rd finger and hit the E minor chord. And if you notice, I'm keeping my top 2 fingers down. I'm keeping the D and the G down with my 3rd and 4th finger. I'm going to do the same thing for C. I'm just going to make that first part of my C shape, but just bring my 2 fingers over. Essentially, it looks like our G chord. Just taking these 2 fingers and moving them 1 set of strings down. That gives us our C, and we have a 9th in here, the D, but we're leaving that common tone throughout the chords. And then I'm just going to go to our normal D chord. So again, that part goes like this. To the E minor. To the C. To the D. And then it goes back to the first part of the song. The second track has a little bit of a melody line to it, and all I'm doing is I'm outlining the top part of the G chord. So if you know that your G bar chord, I'm just going to play this shape up here. So I'm basically going to go G, D, B. I'm going to slide up to the C when the chord progression goes onto that C chord. So again, your sweetest notes that you're always going to be able to play are your chord tones when you're playing any type of lead line or a solo. And what's happening here is I'm actually not coming in on the G chord. I'm playing that G arpeggio over the E minor. And when I get to the C, I'm sliding up to that C note. So it's a very simple part, but since it's overlaying on the E minor chord, it really stands out a little bit. And just add a little vibrato to the end. Now that's the first part of the second track. The second part is basically outlining that G chord again, but I'm doing a sus chord. And what this means is basically you know your G chord here. If we add our pinky, we get that sus sound. And what I'm doing is I'm playing that G, hammering on for that sus, and then picking with my hybrid picking, my fleshy part of my 2nd finger, the D, and then I'm picking up the G with my other finger. And then when I'm coming back down, I want to hit that B, because that's when the chord changes to E minor. And that happens to be our 5th in that chord. I do that same exact move again, but now stay on the C because that's our C chord. And then again, same move. And slide down to the A to get the fifth of the D. So that part all together goes like this. And the second time around, I just do a little bit of a variation of that. I do the same move. But for the C, instead of hitting the C, I'm actually going to hit the third, the E. Same move again. Back to the A. And that's all there is for that second part. Now the third part of the song is up higher on the neck. And when you're writing guitar parts, you want to make sure that you're spreading out your voicings a little bit of your chords, just to add a little bit more dimension and texture. What we're doing here is we're going to play our G up here. So we know we can use the same D shape. The root happens to be on your third finger. You can slide that up, and that's a G chord. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to play those same notes, the G and the B, over both the G and the E minor chord. Well, why does that work? That's because they share those notes. Those are common tones between those chords. So all I'm doing for that part is a very quiet little, and I'm using that G as a pivot note, just then picking up the B. When it goes to E minor, same thing. Now when we come to the C, if you imagine your full C bar chord here, I'm just using the top half, and I'm just going to play these two notes. And again, C has a common tone with the G, which is the fifth, which is the G right here. The same G we've been playing all along with the G to B. Now we're just going to go G to C. And we're going to slide that whole shape up to get that D, top of the D chord right here. So we're playing A and D for that chord. So this part goes like this. When it goes to E minor, same thing. C to the D. So that's a very quiet and gentle part that just adds a little texture underneath the song. So the big takeaway for that part of the song is try to find different fingerings for the chords higher up on the neck and look for those common tones. What are the notes that are common throughout the chords and the entire chord progression, and play off of that. So the last part of the song is a little bit of a melody line that lays on top. And all I'm doing is I'm playing off of the chord tones again. So for the first one, we have that G. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an F sharp. And then go to the G. That adds a little bit of a G major 7 sound. It's just a very pretty sound. So over the G, start with the B, D, F sharp, and then go up to the G. And the second time I hit the G, the chord will change to E minor. So it gives it a little bit of a different flavor because it now becomes the third of that chord. So it goes. And we're getting ready to change to the C. We're going to do A, G, E, which again now is the third of the C. And then I do the same motif, A, G, E, D, which is the root of the D chord. So that part slowly goes like this. So when you're trying to come up with your own melodies, start to outline the chords and then use some notes that are around those, some passing tones that are around those chords, and see if you can add a little bit of an embellishment, maybe doing a hammer-on or a pull-off. In this case, I was doing a pull-off, just to add a little bit of style to the lead line. That's all there is for this video in this series. Thank you so much again for taking the time to watch it. I really do appreciate it. If you found any value, please consider supporting the channel for free by subscribing down below, hit the like button, and knock on the bell and you'll be notified when the next video comes out in this series. Thank you and have a wonderful day.